We all gesture. Gesture is part of how we communicate as humans. This is a study of how gesture functions differently in sign and spoken languages. Whether we gesture while we're speaking with our mouths or while we're speaking with our hands, it's no doubt that gesture is an integral part of human communication. However, not everybody gestures in the same way. In this clip, two English speakers are having a normal conversation, which involves gesturing with their hands. In this clip, however, the speaker of ASL is also having a conversation. Is everything that he is doing with his hands a sign, or are some things merely paralinguistic gestures? This is what I set out to discover. Let's take a closer look at what he's doing right here. I'm going to call this the gesture.
It's hard to describe because it's recognized as well, so, and then, so, but it's not, it doesn't have like a formal dictionary meaning. You couldn't really look it up.
Let's step back for a minute. Language is defined by phonology and morphology. Gesture has neither of these things. What I mean is that whether a language is spoken or signed, you can break down into component phonemes or kinemes, and meaning is derived from smaller chunks of meaning put together, unlike gesture. This, for example, the gesture, the meaning comes from the whole thing. Let's take a look at some examples of what I'm talking about. The ASL signs for apple and onion are articulated at different places and thus are a minimal pair. Teacher is made up of two smaller, meaningful chunks. The gesture has neither of these traits. Next, let's take a look at mimetic gestures, or gestures that people use when they're miming or reenacting things. Now, in these next couple clips, I want you to notice how ASL speakers and English speakers use different kinds of mimetic gestures. Specifically, ASL speakers use mimetic gestures that still include grammatical ASL classifiers.
The face mask thing.
They had the blue guy had a little heart for his nose, and the doorbell was a heart.
Notice how this subject is not only using mimetic classifiers, but indeed his whole way of relating the story is highly iconic. He alternates between playing the two characters, his whole body taking on the role of the characters he is relating. Sometimes English speakers rely on words exclusively, and sometimes ASL speakers rely on signs exclusively.
Comic involving which animals there were, a bear and a squirrel, and one of them had.
My conclusions? Gesture occurs in both signed and spoken languages, or at least in English and ASL, the two languages I studied. That gesture is paralinguistic. The fact that it is discernible from language is part of what makes language language. Thanks for watching.